We seem to all have jumped on the AI bandwagon of recent, but have you ever considered the legal implications? Have you ever thought
Ab-
of the fate of your intellectual property sitting on the internet, ready for any AI system to scrape? We're going to address that today. So, this is the Tech Your Business podcast where we break down technology, technological concepts, inform you about the latest in technology to help your business learn more, earn more, and do more. My name is Peter, and like I mentioned before, AI is being quickly adopted worldwide, but we should be aware of the implications legally of using and providing it as a service. So, this will be a guest episode, and we'll be talking about this topic with Nancy. Nancy is an author and intellectual property law specialist specializing in AI and big data. Nancy is based in the UK and she's the founder of the Business Mission. So, welcome to the show, Nancy.
Thank you very much for having me on, Peter. I'm very excited about this show because I hope that the information that we share today will help other people as we go into this AI landscape in their business.
Definitely, that's the essence. At least if it helps even one person, that's perfect. so,
Exactly.
yeah, so almost every business around uses AI these days. So, what's your biggest concern as a lawyer about that?
We'll have to just moment there. I'm a law specialist, not yet a lawyer.
Okay.
I am sitting to get qualified in January, so that's my first big hurdle. I'm finishing the last leg of my intellectual property law degree at the moment. So this is my third master's that I'm achieving that has something to do with business and IP law.
Yeah.
But the biggest hurdle is obviously the laws and regulations with AI and IP, which are a bit scattered at the moment. One of the biggest emphasized is that robots and animals can't own their IP.
Hmm.
So we need to change laws. So I think that's the biggest hurdle at the moment.
All right. So talking about IP, when we talk about IP, what types of that's intellectual property, what types of IP are most at risk from these AI tools?
Yes, so it's all the IP, Peter. It's including patents and copyrights and trademarks, even trade secrets. They're hugely at risk from AI tools. For example, the AI algorithms, they might create works that infringe on existing patents or copyrights. So potentially exposing these businesses to legal liabilities.
All right. So I know most people understand these things better when they can visualize them. So can you share maybe an example of how AI can infringe on this IP?
Yes, absolutely. So AI could infringe on the business's IP by generating content that closely resembles copyright material or by using algorithms or data without, the owner's permission. Now, this can lead to costly battles and damages to businesses' reputations.
Interesting. So this can happen if generated content looks close to already copyrighted content. So how is a business able to find that out? How is a business able to avoid something like that happening?
Well, they really need to, put credit on what they do. You can't really find it out. Like if you're putting in Chat GBT and you're pulling out words, it's a really huge place, the internet, because that's what Chat GBT does. It pulls out, from the public domain. I think one of the biggest misconceptions is that AI generate content is automatically considered public domain, where in reality businesses really they need to obtain proper permission and licensing for any content creating using AI tools. And if you fail to do this, this will result in legal consequences and financial losses.
Wow. Wow. Another issue concerning the same intellectual property is a lot of businesses, a lot of people have raised concerns that their private, their copyrighted material, their trade secrets and co that they plug into these AI models to generate things for them. A lot of them raise concerns that they feel these things are being used to train these AI models. So, what proactive steps can a business use to safeguard their IP before adopting AI in the business?
Yeah, that's a great question, Peter. So before you adopt AI, these your business should conduct a thorough IP audit, okay, to identify and protect their valuable IP assets. So this includes securing your trademarks and your patents and your copyrights. There's other options with IP as well, which is the industrial design, so the shape of something, and your geographic location. There's also implementing really robust trade secrets, protective measures, and drafting a very clear licensing agreement tailored to the AI usage. I mean, businesses already using AI should conduct their regular IP audits to assess these risks associated with the AI usage. And this really includes identifying the IP infringement issues and just taking those actions to mitigate those risks. And additionally, businesses' responsibility is to stay up to date with these evolving AI IP laws and regulations to ensure compliance.
Hmm, interesting. That sounds like a lot, and I'm sure that's something that a lot of businesses do not do.
Oh, believe me, Peter, they don't because it is a foreign language to them. So, but you now know if you're watching this, talk that you have to take that responsibility. But like anything in life, if you're not supposed to park there, you have to find out what the parking measures are. So there can't be an excuse, well, I didn't know. I mean, in some cases, maybe you didn't know, and you might get off that first penalty, but after that, you'll know.
Yes, yes, yes. All right. So let's talk about AI using the issues that come up with using AI content. You've already talked about content being close that resembles copyrighted material closely being a problem. So when you talk of the legal aspects, what are the main legal pitfalls businesses can face when they use this AI generated content?
Yeah, that's great. So the main legal pitfalls I think businesses face when they are using this AI generated content includes the copyright, that's for sure, if you're using ChatGPT, and trademark infringement. There's also plagiarism and the potential for liability for AI generated content that violates a third party's rights. So you need to address these challenges, and this requires a thorough understanding of IP laws and the best practices for IP usage. So businesses can ensure this compliance and by really carefully vetting the AI algorithm and training data to avoid using copyright material without permission. So they should implement policies and procedures for obtaining the proper license and the permission for AI generated content. And this will minimize the risk of legal disputes. So they should also properly credit of AI work is absolutely essential to avoid that copyright infringement. And businesses should really disclose when content has been generated by AI. I see this a lot on social media is that they create this stuff but they don't say that it's been created by AI. So
Yeah.
and giving, providing the appropriate attribution to the creators of the AI algorithm or dating the training data. So this
Yeah.
transparency really will build trust and credibility with stakeholders while they minimize the legal risks.
Mm. All right. So you talked about attributing, about crediting these AI generated works and cool. So for a business who is using this AI, what protocol can they follow to properly do this crediting of the works?
Well, it's a really tricky one, because ChatGPT pulls content from the internet and you aren't going to know exactly the author that you're taking it from. What is best is just to say that this is AI generated. And, we used AI generation to get this content. There has been many cases at the moment with authors against the chat GPT for copyright infringement. It is such a zoo out there, Peter, at the moment, because, when you are pulling something from ChatGPT, may it be just like an internal thing, like a letter to somebody in the office, that's not too bad. But when it starts going into the public domain, that's when you have a little bit of a legal issue.
Yeah. All right. So that makes a lot of sense. So we were talking about the legal landmines of using this AI content in business, in everything. So is there any example? Is there any issue where a business has faced legal issues from using AI improperly so far?
Absolutely. So I pulled up about three different cases, which, I mean, they were anyway in my degree, but they're really, really fascinating. So there was an attorney called Schwartz, and he was with Lever, Doe, and Oberman. And there was an employee called Roberto Mato, and he was suing for injuries he sustained in 2019. And what was the problem with this? Well, at least six of the cases that he submitted to the judge were created by ChatGPT, which did not exist. Okay. So the lawyer for the man who was suing these injuries that he got on this airline, he used ChatGPT to prepare the filing, but the artificial intelligence bot delivered fake cases
Wow.
that the attorney then presented to the court. I know it
Wow.
seems weird to hear this, but in the end, the judge weighed sanctions as as the legal community really grapples with the first AI hallucination making it to court. So in June 2003, last year, Judge Castell imposed a £5,000 fine on Swartz, and in a separate ruling, he then dismissed the Matas law case against Aventia because it was just all made up cases. So, as a lawyer, somebody in legal aspect, don't go use ChatGPT for your cases because they don't exist. There was also the Air Canada case, which was very interesting. So in February 2014, so this 2024, I'm sorry, Air Canada was ordered to pay damages to a passenger after its virtual assistants gave him very much incorrect information at a very difficult time. So this chap, Jake Moffat, consulted the Air Canada's virtual assistant about a bereavement fare following the death of his grandmother in November 2024. And the chatbot, the virtual person, told him he could buy a regular price ticket from Vancouver to Toronto and apply for a bereavement discount within 90 days of the purchase. So following that advice, he purchased a one-way ticket, sorry. But when he submitted his refund claim, the airline turned him down, saying that bereavement fares can't be claimed after a ticket had been purchased.
Wow.
So he took them to a tribunal, claiming that Air Canada was misrepresentative information via their virtual assistant.
Assistant.
Yeah, so the airline was ordered to pay him, I think it was $812, I'm sorry, and another $650 for that mishap with AI, the virtual bot.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, I do have one more case if you want to hear it.
Yeah, yeah.
So IT Tutor Group recruited AI and they reject applicants due to age. So in 2023 August, this tutoring company, iTutor Group, agreed to pay $365,000 to settle a suit brought against the U.S. Equal Employment Act, which provided remote tutoring services to students in China. And they used AI powered recruiting software that automatically rejected males and female applicants from the age of 55 and older. 60 and older. So more than 200 qualified applicants were automatically rejected by the software. So age discrimination is an absolute no-no. And even when technology automatically discriminates, the employer is still responsibility. So
Yes.
all these cases, Peter, one thing is that businesses can really face legal issues when it comes to use AI algorithms to generate these product descriptions that closely resemble copyright material from a competitor. And then that competitor may also file for copyright infringement or anything else that an AI has generated. So this really underscores the importance of due diligence and legal compliance when using these AI technologies.
Oh, well, so that's really an eye opener because a lot of us adopt AI because it makes things easy. But from all you've said, it's obvious that while making things easy, it's also making things a bit complicated.
Absolutely. I kind of like to use the analogy that AI is your child. So, if your child does something naughty, you are really, as a parent, responsible for what they do,
Yes.
to a degree. If you don't know, that's one thing. And fair enough, with the AI landscape and the IP and, the laws, they are really all over the shop at the moment. There's not too much structure. So that's something we're working on. We're very behind on that. But, use common sense when you're using this and also use common sense, as a business owner, what you are doing with your customers, your clients, and how you are using AI tools legally and also safely.
Hmm, true. All right. So let's go on to tips for businesses. What are your top three tips for businesses to legally and ethically leverage AI while protecting their intellectual property at the same time?
Yeah, that's great. So just ensure your AI algorithms are properly licensed and compliant with IP laws. I would also say implement policies for ethical AI usage, like include transparency and accountability measures, and just regularly monitor AI outputs, for potential IP infringement issues, just to maintain that legal compliance and uphold ethical standards as well.
Hmm. All right. So for business owners who would like to learn more about these AI laws, regulations, and co, what are some resources you can recommend for them?
Absolutely. So I would say just follow the industry's publications, like listen, read legal blogs, listen to this sort of podcast that we're doing, and just go to professional organizations for update on AI and IP laws. And regulations just to stay informed about these emerging issues. And like I said to you, Peter, it's all very new territory for many people, like, especially if you're not in the IP and AI world. But it has been going on for many, many years. You can consult with someone like myself or other legal experts, sorry, in the AI and IP, just to keep afloat of the evolving legal landscapes and just seek that guidance on those complex legal challenges related to AI usage and, IP protection.
All right. So, while we were talking earlier before we started this episode, you let me know that you're an author. So, can you just tell our audience about your book? And you said you have another book coming out too, I believe.
Yes, so I started writing this book in 2017, before I was very, very heavily into IP and AI. So the book is a really good basic guide on how to start a business. So the book is called The Art of Analogies in Business. How to start a business in layman's terms. So it's a very easy, understandable, practical guide on starting business. The wonderful thing, which is a little bit different about my book, is I do have a chapter on intellectual property in it because I do find a lot of business books kind of miss that scope. I do actually have another book coming out afterwards. So this one will launch in December, but the next book is how to, in similar on how to start a business using AI. So that's very exciting. I kind of revert that I wish I'd brought that book out first because it's a hot topic right now. But I got to do one kid at a time, I say.
Yeah.
So this book is available for pre-order. There's 32 chapters, and I use analogies. So
Mm,
explaining about starting a business. For example, when you birth a child, it needs a birth certificate. Well, that's your trademark. So I like to use that kind of analogy. Make sure you get a trademark for your business when you do go live or in the public domain. So, like I said, it comes out in December this year. You can pre-order it through my website at the moment.
amazing. So you'll give us a link for that, or we'll add that in the show notes once
That would be really wonderful.
yeah,
Thank you, Peter.
once you go live. So coming back to business, you're the managing director of the business mission. And there's one thing I always say, that when we start businesses for one purpose, and at the end of the day, a lot of times we get sidetracked to technology. For instance, like this interview, we're supposed to have it on one platform. Last minute, the platform I've been using for over a year just decided not to work. And we decided to switch on to Zoom here. So for your business, let us know what your business does, and also what's the biggest technological challenge you've encountered operating your business.
Well, actually, Peter, I have a very solid business plan and I have a very solid SWOT analysis. And I like the SWOT analysis because what a SWOT does, it prepares you for any or most challenges that come forward. So if there is a technology issue, I would say become more responsive rather than reactive.
Reactive, yeah.
Because if you panic, oh God, it doesn't work, you just instead of spending too much time in that, you just move to where it will work or try a different path and take that path. But when you start a business, any business, whether it's tech or whether it's legal or whatever, always do a business plan. And in that business plan, always have a SWOT. So if there's a threat, for example, the internet shuts down, what are the steps that you can take to continue your business? I do recall during COVID, for example, a lot of my clients who were yoga teachers, they had to shut their studio down, but it was okay because we were on the internet already. And then I said to them, if we're on the internet and that shuts down, well, we'll just get a a USB plug, which you can post to your clients, and they can still do your work for 12.99 subscription every month.
Yeah.
So you got to be ahead of the game. And that's why, when you said to me about, oh, well, people don't know about AI. Well, you've got to be ahead of the game. You've got to go find out. If you want to succeed in a business, you've got to be innovative and you got to be ahead. You're, one step ahead.
True. All right. So as we get to the end of this episode, you talked about your book earlier. I talked about your business and everything. So if a business owner, a listener wants to get your book, to learn more from you, we've just talked for a short while, but I know we can talk for days if we have to on this topic. So if they want to reach you, learn more from you, get your book, or consult with you, anything, how can they reach you?
Yes. Well, I think you mentioned you'll put a link. So that link is a link tree link, which
Okay.
links to all my platforms. But you can get me at www.thebusinessmission.com. I'm also on Facebook. I've got an author page, which is Nancy Steidl Author. There is also my business page on Facebook, which is The Business Mission. I'm very active on LinkedIn as well. So you can get me on my personal page, which is the Nancy Steidl on LinkedIn. And then we also have a business page, which is the Business Mission on LinkedIn. And you can email me at info@thebusinessmission.com. So if you need help structuring a business, starting a business, you need help with your IP, your intellectual property, understanding how artificial intelligence can deal with your IP in your business as you evolve. If you are a startup or existing business, we have a scope for all those target audiences.
Amazing. So everything will be linked in the show notes, your link tree, your website, your social media, so anyone can easily reach out to you and continue the conversation from where we stopped.
Thank you very much, Peter. And thank you very much for having me on your platform. And I do hope today's podcast will give some more information to people that they didn't know about IP and AI.
Thank you. Thank you so much for coming on, Sue. So for the listeners, did you get any value from this episode? If you did, please share with anyone who you know this episode will help. Someone who is using, like you said, virtual assistants, someone who is using AI content, someone who is worried about the impacts of AI on their business. And if you want to be the first to know when we post more helpful content like this for your business, don't forget to follow, like, and subscribe to the podcast on whatever platform you're listening to or watching it on. So we've had a lot of AI episodes on this podcast, the most recent being episode 75, where I talked about the EU AI Act, and episode 67, where I covered writing better content with AI. So you can scroll down, check those episodes out. Until next week, when we are back with the new episodes, keep looking for new ways to take your business. Bye for now.